We like those guys.
90.5.
Yeah. 90.4.
90.4. I'm sorry.
Come correct on this podcast.
Dang.
That's too much proof.
90.4.
It's too much proof.
Better. That's it.
Break out the water. Pour
Take
a little bit in there. Pour a little bit in there.
This ain't no high proof bourbon, son. Welcome everyone to episode 241 of the Mashup, the best bourbon conversation you are hear all week long. We're your hosts, Kenny, Anthony, and Steven. Hello, gentlemen.
Hello, hello.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going great today.
Yeah, are you feeling good?
I am. I've been on a high ever since Kentucky won.
Yes, we are going to talk about Kentucky. We're going to annoy people to talk about Kentucky so much. But before we do that, I would like to welcome back to the podcast our good friend and co-host of Arsenic Culture, Mr. Jason Hale.
Oh, damn. Get a clap. Appreciate that, fellas.
There you go.
Sorry for cussing, but I appreciate that.
Oh, did you cuss?
He will institute the Alves beep, so it'll be all right.
Yeah. We don't want to restrict you in your artistic freedom.
I'll slow it down. Slow it down. But thank you for having me. Glad to be back.
Wonderful. So for those of our listeners who don't know, if you're living under a rock, you've not heard of Jason. Jason has occasionally had us on his show. So he co-hosts the show called Arsenic Culture, as I just mentioned, with his co-host Matt. And the two of them delve into spirits, beer, food, and all types of other ill stuff.
That's correct.
Like funky expired beer.
That's correct.
Yeah.
and beaver flavored whiskey.
And beaver flavored whiskey. So definitely check them out. But happy to have you back, Jason. So Steven, back to what you were talking about, the high that we're on today, sir.
Yes.
And what's prompted that?
Well, the Cats won against Illinois on Sunday.
Sunday. We are recording on a Monday, but this will debut on Friday. So that will be the day that
they play Tennessee in the Sweet 16.
There you go. And we couldn't figure this one out yesterday amongst the many group texts that were going on. Everyone like, when was the last time we were in the Sweet 16? And I think it was Alves actually that said 2019. So that's 6 years.
Yeah.
6 years for Kentucky basketball. And so
the only thing bad is we get Tennessee again. We beat them, twice this year?
Yeah.
It's going to be hard to beat them 3 times. I think we're a 4.5 point underdog.
We are.
But
we just have to be or pull our inner Alabama, where they beat us 3 times.
That's right.
We have to beat them 4 times.
and we're probably closer to Indy than they are, which we are.
Well, that's going to be a tough ticket because Purdue's up there, right?
Yep. Tennessee,
Tennessee, Kentucky,
Houston.
and Houston.
I said when I play a team like that, we already played them twice. It's going to be tough.
It's going to be real tough.
It's gonna be
really tough.
I think it's $300 to get in. Just get in. And they're playing at Lucas Oil Field. So
imagine that's level 600 for $300.
Yeah.
That's nuts. That's insane. And first of all, it was funny. So I think I can disclose this. There was a email chain going on that had administrators from the University of Tennessee and from the University of Kentucky and myself on it. It was unrelated to basketball, but I interjected and said, big game on Friday. And then the Tennessee person responded and said, are you going to be there? And I said, $300 to get in the door. I'm not going to be there. But then I was thinking of 2 or 3 other people on this email chain probably get in there for free. And I was like, yeah, y'all, I'm not that important yet. Hopefully one day I will be. But I was like, no, I can't be in there for $300 to get in the door. Plus, I don't know. Didn't they say they're playing at Lucas Oil, but they're going to restrict it to
only like a third of it?
Yeah, it's a big place.
Yeah. What's the point of having it a big place like that?
I don't know.
You get 25,000 people in there. That's why.
But how many does the Pacers place hold?
Good question. I don't know.
I mean, what's that called?
Maybe they were playing.
It used to be called Conseco Fieldhouse. That's how old I am. I don't know what it's called now.
The house that Rick Smits and Reggie Miller built.
Ricky Smits. And then a couple of Jacksons and Davises in there. Yeah. But yeah, I couldn't be more excited about Kentucky returning to its rightful place. And I'm not going to lie to you guys, man. I was sweating when Cal punched his ticket. Come on now. You got to make a comment there. When Cal punched his ticket.
You got to win at that point.
Right? And then BYU.
Yeah.
BYU and Cal both into the Sweet 16 and Pope to go last, the guy who's not won anything before he came here. That was sweating for him. So when they won, it was a really great feeling.
The other storyline I really liked was that the fact that SEC had 7 teams in the Sweet 16. As all year they've been saying SEC is the best conference, right, for basketball.
We started rough in the NCAA tournament.
And then we end up showing it with almost half the teams
are
from the SEC.
Yeah, no, I mean, if you're listening to this podcast and you are a fan of an SEC school, I mean, heck yeah. I mean, we all can celebrate a little bit, right? But
everybody but Arkansas.
There you go. Everybody but Arkansas.
Maybe not Florida either.
Yeah. Well, hey, here we go. Think about this, though. I mean, I got to ask you guys straight up. Now, you guys do brackets this year?
Yeah.
Okay. Sadly, no.
Sadly, Kenny, any bracket?
Nope.
Okay. I did a bracket.
Yep,
how far? Jason, since you're said you've done one, how far do you pick Kentucky?
I've got them winning no more games.
Really?
Yep.
So you only picked them to 16?
Yep.
All right. I did pick them to the Elite Eight in the bracket. I thought about trying to take them all the way to the Final Four because I thought if they can get past Tennessee, there's no reason they can't beat Houston.
Correct.
Because I think Tennessee is actually probably the better team there. Man, that was tough because I was thinking, I'm like, usually when you're positioned, you pick Kentucky, they're usually favored, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
So you're going to pick them to go I don't know how many years I picked them to go far, and they let me down. And then the years where they weren't favored, they usually go pretty far in recent times. So yeah, I've done that. My sports betting update, I'm actually at $85 on my account.
Good job.
Yeah. So
Have you gone negative yet?
I know I went all the way down to 35 and I built it back up to 85. So I almost lost to the point where I was going to quit, but I didn't do that. So Kenny, you downloaded a betting app yet?
Not yet. I am holding off on that until Caleb's little plug. I'm going to see how his plug does. Remember that, what he's talking about?
Which the plug with the headphones? I'm just kidding.
Yeah, he has a Moneyball guy that's made some. So we'll see how he does before I decide to do that.
Yeah.
He was talking big about it, but then all of a sudden it seemed like a couple of bets immediately did not go through.
I followed a couple guys like that on Twitter and Pickett, but it didn't last too long.
Yeah.
They were good at NBA, and then they got real cold.
Well, I feel like those videos, like yesterday, I was looking for something like that to give me advice on what I should bet, and I clicked on a couple of YouTube channels. It's like, if you subscribe, and I'm like, this seems like
stupid. Yeah.
1990s, like call the I don't remember the Simpsons scene where he calls in for betting advice, and it's like in the game between sin, T, and it's like charging like $1 per minute or something. He's talking really slow. I feel like these YouTube things are for betting.
There was an early morning ESPN commercial back in the day of like these bettors that you would call in and pay the 900 number and pay for their advice on like Saturdays and Sundays. I'm talking like 4 a.m. 5 a.m.
Yeah.
Wait, was this 800 numbers or 900
900 numbers?
Oh,
this was like in the 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah, okay.
Not that I'm
I just thought about the fact that my kids will never see late night ads for Smut.
That's true.
You don't see Smut phone numbers anymore.
Girls Gone Wild. Jeez.
Man.
Walk on the tour bus, it cuts out.
They will have no scrambled channels, right?
Those scrambled channels. No, but really, that's a thing, right?
Oh, yeah.
So nostalgia. One of the best things about the tournament so far to me has been the resurgence of the Geico commercial with
Maxwell.
the pig.
I was going to bring that up.
Going, wee, all the way home. That has been so great, and my kids are getting up on it too. They're laughing so hard about it, and every time it comes on, I see my wife like, "Oh God, not again!" Because they're playing it like every single commercial break, like
and they haven't even upgraded the format. It's still the old
same thing.
Yeah,
right. Same thing.
Right? Yeah, it still looks the same way.
Did any of you all think about the angle of Cal and Boogie Flan?
What do you mean?
Think about what he's done here the last 5, 8, 10 years.
Right.
If
we brought him back.
he would have never, ever played Boogie Flan again.
Oh yeah,
if he was at Kentucky.
Yeah, I totally agree.
So
shut him down and wait for the lottery.
Shut him down. The handlers say shut him down. Cal shuts him down, and all that crap.
Right.
So I mean, it's going to show BYU making it. Cal doing better. UK's doing good. This move was good for everybody involved.
100%.
Because Cal was literally just a lame duck here. I mean, he had no motivation. He didn't care to win. I mean, what's the point? He's a lifetime contract, making all the money. So it's been good for him, I guess, to get back on.
Yeah. You're right about that. So he would never
not
have played here.
Flan
Never
at all.
You know who I felt good for on the staff? Cleo McDowell, a.k.a. Chin Coleman. He was in the background when Cal was talking, and he was like making these faces and shaking his head like, this is the best year of coaching we'd ever have. And I'm thinking to myself, like, y'all, the reason why it's so good is because nobody expected this.
Yeah.
And then
because you suck for 2/3 of the season.
And then, Kenny, back to your point about Boogie Flan, I don't want to spend too much time talking about Arkansas here, but I think that those guys found their stride when they weren't beholden to how many shots a guy could get a game or whatever else was going on. And that's what is a successful thing.
It is.
So not having to micromanage and hold those guys' hands, and then he comes back and he fits in the system and he goes, well, but like, man, the hatred runs deep around here.
No, that's the thing is, I mean, how many times did we see it up here when Cal would force the person in because he made promises to their handlers?
He was playing Reed and Rob last year.
Right. And so it's one of those things where two of their better players go out or Boogie Flynn goes out injured. That's when they go on the run.
Right.
Because now it's just he's gonna put the best team in and play the best team. So it's one of those things, man. If Cal could get out of his own way with that and quit making all these freaking promises to all those people, but it's like we saw it with Booker and Ulis on the bench.
Same thing.
It's insane, man. But I'm glad we're happy where we are.
Oh, yeah.
And Cal's better off because now he has motivation where he has to do good.
We've overachieved. It's already been a successful year.
Did you see who was on the sideline of Illinois while we were playing them?
I did.
Orlando, Antigua.
Coach O.
Oh, yeah, Sinbad.
Yeah, that's another storyline.
And Big Z's brother. How about that?
That's right. He's killing it.
Big Z's brother's better than Big Z.
Yeah.
So Orlando was one of the only guys from the Cal era that wanted to stay here, right? Like he made it known. He was one of the last guys out the door. He made it known he wasn't going to Arkansas, whether they were offering to him or not. So I think he still has family that lives in the area, and maybe one of his kids still lives here. I guess he's on good terms with everybody, and I never had a problem with the guy.
No.
I mean, I didn't interact with him, but I mean, I never had a problem with him as an idea as a coach. That was a lot of. It was good to like actually care about basketball through the first weekend of the tournament and then having something to look forward to. It lifts the local economy too so much. Like people are just excited and they're going out and doing things and buying more bourbon. I think maybe even buying Club Blue.
NIL, no. No, NIL, yes. Just, get the bottle signed and keep it on your shelf and make it be pretty.
That's right. There you go.
So, Anthony, we have another review this week.
Yeah, we do. This one's kind of an interesting one because it's not a traditional kind of like the last Friday was. So we actually got a message from a listener named Michael H. on Instagram, and he sent the following. He said, "Good day. You guys are changing my newly discovered bourbon world. My wife and I are very new, 1.5 years to bourbon, and are currently 3/4 away through the buy every bottle FOMO on a bottle stage." He said, "I stumbled across the mashup about a month ago, and it's my go-to every day to and from work. Your insights and practical experience are definitely appreciated. The first time I heard Kenny say, find a reviewer whose palate aligns with yours, it just made so much sense." He also said the following. He said he and his wife are actually planning to move from their current state to Lexington in June. My goodness. He said they visited Kentucky 3 times in 2024 and fell in love. And he said he hopes to get in on future barrel picks that we do and thanked us for all that we do. So Michael H., we appreciate that message, man. It means a lot, and I know we're not ending it there. We're going to have a back and forth with you, of course. That's not for us to talk about here on the air, but hopefully we get together with you for some sips sometime soon, and thanks for supporting the podcast, man. We appreciate it.
Sip on some scissor.
Now, do you think we had anything to do with them moving here?
I don't know about that. I mean, you got to come experience Kentucky. I mean, I was apprehensive about moving here. I'm not going to lie. Yeah. And then, my wife and I can't imagine living anywhere else. So I think that it's got a way of putting a spell on you. And if you like bourbon, it's especially good for you that way.
And that parka store.
You know what, Kenny? You keep making fun of my parkas. It's going to motivate me to open the best parka store in Lexington that doesn't exist.
But do you have summertime parkas?
I don't really have
lightweight ones.
I have lightweight jackets, not summer beach. Can you imagine me on the beach with a parka on?
I could actually.
I could.
Parka and Jordans, and that's it. He opens a parka, and there he is.
Nobody needed that visual. Better leave the parka on, huh?
Nudist beach, here you come.
Hey, Miss Parker.
I'll be on the news. There's a flasher loose on the beach. Oh my God, I think I know that parka.
The water's cold.
The water was freezing. I tell you, it was freezing.
Sir, we're not in the water anymore.
Get us back on track, Steve.
I'm trying. If you like a shout out, just leave us a review on Spotify, Instagram, email us, Amazon. next time we record, give you a shout out. All right. For this week,
Go ahead.
we have a bottle of 13th Colony 113 bourbon whiskey.
Oh, yeah. I don't know why they call us the 113 bourbon whiskey, but this comes to us from the 13th Colony Distilleries in Marcus, Georgia. Is that how you pronounce that?
I would think so.
Jason, you're the pronunciation guru.
Marcus.
All right. The bottle date is 2025. The ABV was what? 60. What was it again? I don't have this right on here. 113.
113
and half. That's the proof is 113. I can't do math, so I don't know what the ABV actually is. It's not 50.6. I'll tell you that much.
56.5.
56.5. Thank you, Kenny. Good job with your math. This is 5 to 6 years old, and the reason why it's 5 to 6 is because it's a blend. The mash bill is 70% corn, 20% rye, and 9% malted barley. The MSRP is $62.99.
It's a nice price.
That's nice. But however, the secondary in the local market has been about 120 to 150. And by the way, there's no local secondary market. And then it's also been more national on the enthusiast markets that also don't exist. Thank you.
So have you all had much from them? I think you've had, what, the double oaked, and then did you do the 15th anniversary or whatever?
3 different double oaks. Mm-hmm. I had the anniversary. I had a Bourbon Junkie / J. Hobber Bourbon Outfitter rye pick and bourbon pick both. All of those are about 8 shades darker than that.
Are they? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the double oaked I had, and then the 15th anniversary.
It was good.
Dark. It was the 15th anniversary was very, very good.
Yeah.
I had that before I had the double oak. So,
well,
this is a very special bottle too.
What's oh my God. Okay. So I obviously wasn't there. For those of you who don't know, Kenny has taken
back up a step. For those that don't know, Anthony was where?
I was in Disney
on vacation.
I was on vacation.
Kenny, what count is that?
Yeah, third of this year.
Third, okay.
It's not the third of this year.
Yes, it is.
You guys, so these guys love to bust my balls about being on vacation, and so I had actually secured a bottle of this from the House of Bourbon, and Kenny was going there for a tasting, and so I said, "Hey, when you're down there, can you pick up my bottle for me?" And he said, "Sure." Well, I'm like out in, I think that night I was at Epcot, or maybe I was at the Magic Kingdom. No, it was the Magic Kingdom for fireworks night. And all of a sudden, he's like, "You should have answered your phone." And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And so
I took his bottle, and me and some listeners, we left and we went and opened that bottle and shared it and enjoyed it.
Thanks for leading us a little, at least.
Yeah. So, you know, it's funny. I thought at first he was joking, and then I was like, he's not joking. Like, I realized it was the one time where it wasn't joking, and he posted on social media. And so I hope that the listeners out there that got to indulge in this bottle are happy, because I'm happy to share with you, even though Instagram may have said otherwise. They may have said, I may have called you bad word. Did I call you? I called Kenny.
Shane's like,
word.
I can't believe Anthony called you that on social media.
I know. Sometimes you're authentic and your interactions just happen organically like that. And that's just what happened. I was thinking to myself, I was very upset. But you know what? If it went into our listeners, their experience that day, then I'm happy. So anything for the listeners.
That's right.
So that's how this bottle originally got opened. And I know that one of them, I think it was maybe Izzy said, yeah, I hope that you guys do a review on it quickly. So it was very easy to decide what we were going to be reviewing.
It's already open.
It's already open.
We're just airing it out for everybody. That's all we're doing. Just airing it out.
I don't have to say much about this bottle since we reviewed the Double Oak twice. This looks exactly the same way.
Same shape.
We call it a poor man's Old Forester birthday bourbon bottle.
Yeah.
It kind of looks like a weird spaceship.
It's a cross between that and Sam Adams' Utopia from the beer cognac world.
Oh man, you're exactly right. I never thought about that. Utopias. Is it Utopia or Utopias?
I think it's Utopias.
Oh man, is that like a $230 beer?
It'd be Utopias.
Utopias
on the podcast too.
For us.
Utopias.
One thing about us is we like to talk about utopias.
That's right.
I do that right?
Yes, you did.
All right. So just a red label on this one. It says aged in South Africa. I mean, Georgia. Sorry.
Close.
It was Marcus. It got me in there. 2025 release. Nothing really else on the bottle about the actual whiskey. It has some tasting notes on the side of the bottle. That's about it. And a Surgeon General's warning. Go ahead.
What they did was they put spirals in there, right? Like the maple wood spirals.
Yeah, and I actually have to give a quick shout out. I didn't know you can't find any information on the finishing process. I think it's Everyday Drinker, which I hope he doesn't drink every day.
I saw the same thing.
Saw the same one?
Yep.
So please tell us what Everyday Drinker, since we're giving a shout out on YouTube. That's how we do our research. See, Jason, you're the research guy too, aren't you? On your pod. There you go. Fist bumps. Okay. Yes, Everyday Drinker said he emailed 13th Colony Distilleries and asked them about what the finishing process was like and how many staves went in each barrel, what they did with them, all those kind of things. And the response they gave him was interesting. Did you think that was interesting?
It was very interesting.
So what did they say? They said 1 to 3?
1 to 3 staves per barrel.
Right.
And then they said the time in the barrels varied. They didn't give any specifics at all. And then they said the spirals were a medium toast, which is very vague again, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
That could be from I don't know what to what.
That's like a level 3 on the toaster,
right? Yeah.
4.
So they were about as open with that as they have been with the past, I guess, allegations of sourcing and additives, right?
Right, exactly. That's what that made me think of, but I wasn't going to go there yet until I taste this whiskey. But that was a very interesting thing that. And I got to give that guy, he's not got a big following, but that was a nice video.
It was a good video, about 10 minutes long. It's really good.
Yeah.
I guess I got to be a little vague, though. If not, you might have a distillery in Louisville come out with something that says New 13th Colony Distilleries. So they got to be careful on the information they disclose.
Good call.
Oh, my God, dude. That's crazy.
They'll never be on the show.
You sure? I don't think that they're, maybe they will.
With all the stuff from them, though, we've heard rumors, whatever, we can talk about later, but the weirdest thing I think I heard was last year when they came out with that 15th anniversary.
Right.
I had no idea they'd been around since 2009. Did you? I mean,
long time.
No idea. I'd never even heard of them until the past, 3 years?
Yeah, same here.
Yeah.
Once they had that double oak come out on that first double oak, and that was 3 years ago, that's when they just blew up.
I mean, they must have been super small operation to not have any media attention at all. I'd never heard that name. I mean, ever. So.
Well, I've told the story.
They were good.
I've told the story before, so I'll make it quick. We go on vacation down to the small area in South Carolina, and they have a little wine and spirit shop. And I did find a bottle of 13th Colony French oak finish bourbon.
Oh, yeah.
That was a store pick that sat on the shelf for at least 3 years. Because,
dusty.
Yeah, I actually liked it. Exactly. It's dusty. I actually liked it. I mean, it was a very sharp French oak finish, and you could tell the bourbon was young, but for some reason it hit my palate okay. So there was a run there where I'd go down there, and every summer I'd take one less thing because I know I'd be buying a bottle of that. And then once the craze hit with the double oak stuff, I remember going to that same shop and being like, hey, do you have any more of the bottles left? And they're like, oh, no, somebody came in and bought them all. And I'm like, of course they did, because some poor guy online is going to be like, this is one of the first finished bottles that's out there, and pay $300 for it. Yep. It was a $50 bottle, and it was worth that, but it wasn't worth much more than
It's like the first time they came here, when you saw them on the shelf for the first time, you didn't see them again for about 3 months because everybody bought it up, probably thinking that they were getting the double oaked. They didn't pay attention to what the label actually was, because we had the rye and then I think just the bourbon here when we first got them.
I don't know, guys. You want to talk at all about 13th Colony? I'll give a quick recap. What we've done real quickly on the podcast. 126, episode 126, reviewed a 2023 double oaked, and then 198, we did a short on the 2024 version. We've talked about the brand and the distillery, why they started. They apparently are friends and family owned. Mm-hmm. They used to distill spirits for their family members, and they do all kinds of different stuff there. I remember this. I just want to point this out. I don't know if you guys have anything else. The first time I was doing research, I went to their website, and I was, I guess, captivated, if you will, by the lack of information that was there. And so now, when I went there yesterday, there was a lot of information, especially about their aging process. A lot of mention about the heat and humidity in Georgia. And I'm thinking to myself, is that a direct... I mean, I don't know how long that's been up there. Could have been up there before. I just didn't see it. But I mean, the first time I reviewed 13th Colony product was 2 years ago. But they talk a lot about that. I don't think it was.
I think I remember Bruzel, his channel, when he was not 3 million subscribers, but back in,
Yeah.
And I remember him going there and even talking about it. And that was when he was very, very new to his bourbon journey, coming over from beer. I remember that. It was very nondescript even then. And I know you've seen the other YouTube videos and read the articles. I mean, there's just not much information on them. Is it sourced? Is it theirs? What's the process?
Right.
I don't know. Still don't know.
Yeah. No, I don't know. The reason why I laughed when you said Bruzel is because I sent Steven and Kenny a video to remind them why we do the podcast. And it was, I won't get too specific, but it was Bruzel out shopping and somebody sold him on a product that we've talked about before. Not in a flattering way, but he bought a hook, line, and sinker and was like, all right, then I'll buy it. And I was like, this is why we do the podcast. So
I'd say with his budget, he can buy whatever he wants.
Yeah, I know. He's probably generated enough to buy himself.
He's got his own brand coming. He bought a distillery, yeah.
Oh, wow. See what you can do if you got that that Instagram flow.
Well, should we use our nose and sniff this thing?
That's where we go. Wow.
Youth.
Yeah, not what I was expecting, to tell you the truth.
It's like separated. Like you get a little bit of the corn younger, and then you get like that nose flavor.
A little caramel, marshmallow.
Oh yeah, there's a little marshmallow in there. That's probably the sweet.
But yeah, you're right.
But yeah, corn and youth is really interesting because with it being finished with maple staves, I was expecting to nose this and go, oh my God, pancake syrup or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was thinking like a Maker's 46 or something.
Right.
Yeah.
So far, so not good. I mean, I'm just saying for myself, from what my expectation was to nosing this right now, I'm like, ooh, a little thrown off.
And was the proof on this one 113 as well?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. And they're actually calling this, like, it's being known as 113 bourbon. So if they're going to, like, keep it at 113 and rotate the finishes or do something like that, because they're really branding that 113. I don't know why. Like, they're calling it.
It didn't have a backstory when I looked it up.
113 straight bourbon whiskey, and then it's finished with Maplewood spirals. But I think the 113 is very prominent. So I wonder. Maybe they got a little bit of that at Kentucky Senator.
I was just thinking the same thing.
Everything's going to be 107. All right, then. No, I'm just
Sure, or the Woodford.
We like those guys.
90.5.
Yeah. 90.4.
90.4. I'm sorry.
I'm correct on this podcast.
Dang.
That's too much proof.
90.4.
It's too much proof.
Better. That's it.
Break out the water. Pour
Take
a little bit in there. Pour a little bit in there.
This ain't no high proof bourbon, son.
Or if it was high proof, it'd be 139.4.
139.4. Got to maintain. So real quickly, they actually have 10 different products while we're nosing here. They have the Southern Bourbon, Southern Rye, Double Oak Bourbon, 113 Bourbon, Cask Strength Bourbon and Rye, White Whiskey, which that's White Dog, obviously. And then 2 different kinds of gin, which if anybody's distillers worth their salt, they got to have 2 kinds of gin.
It's quick.
2 kinds, yeah. And then vodka, of course. They actually have a vodka there. So I actually thought about filling my water bottle up with vodka one time and seeing how that went. When like, oh, guys, I need to cleanse the palate here, rehydrate. Oh, my God, that's vodka. What's he doing? Wouldn't be around very long, I guess. But that's interesting. They got like a plethora of different items there. And the new release, they dub it as saying that their 113 bourbon is our newest release, bringing enthusiasts a straight bourbon whiskey finished with Maplewood spirals, a taste that's simply unforgettable.
We'll have to see about that.
Well, let's go for a taste and
You want to
find
do
out
that?
how unforgettable it is.
Unforgettable. Is that what it is? It's unforgiven.
That's what you are.
There you go.
You're very youthful, man.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand how they have such heat and humidity down there, and their other stuff is so dark. If this is 5 or 6 years old, it should not taste this youthful.
No, I agree with that.
I mean, this was like it. You know, I've got that 7-year Premier Drams that was aged at Castle and Key. That's super light. Mm-hmm. I mean, this should not taste like that.
Well, then you look over in the shelf, New Riff. I mean, their stuff that's 4 to 7 years old is wow. I mean, much more developed than this.
Very youthful.
Yeah, it's still separated to me. Like I get like a corn whiskey, and then I get just a flavor. Like it's kind of odd. I don't know how to describe it.
Right. The last thing that I expected, and I want to know what they did with those wood spirals now, because did they freshly cut them? Like, were they cut and not toasted all the way around? Because I'm getting a little bit of fresh cut lumber on this pallet here, which is not something that I like at all.
I can see that.
A little smoky. Like, here's the best way I could describe it.
Don't you start talking about smoke.
Isn't there a little bit of smoke in there?
I haven't gotten it yet, but...
Okay. So here's the kind of smoke I'm talking about. And you have to have done this because it's not a taste, it's a smell. But the nose and the palate are connected. And I didn't get this on the nose. When you take a reciprocating saw, if you've ever done any kind of work, and you cut through the lumber, and it almost, because your blade's not dull, it like burns the wood a little bit.
Right.
And so you get that high like sawdust smell, but it's not like a regular sawdust. It's like a little bit burnt. You can actually see where the blade's like burning the wood.
Right.
That, unfortunately, is something that comes into the palate of this whiskey, which is really freaking weird.
That's a good call. I grew up close to like a sawmill. I mean, you're not wrong.
Okay.
I can see some of that.
God, I'm really angry.
On their website, they say straw also.
That's a straw, maybe?
Sweet corn, straw, maple, clove. They say hint of peppercorn and spice. I get spicy on it.
I get spicy for sure.
It tingles the mouth.
It tingles my mouth. Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
There's definitely tingling going on.
Like it tingled so much that it was like I did not take the 1910 starter pour. It was like this was my first pour of the night. How much it lit me up a little bit.
I agree with that.
This is a very different experience than what we're used to with the double oaked. Now, I didn't think it was going to be the same.
Or 15th anniversary, or the single barrels I had. Right.
The single barrel rye, that one was banger. Yeah. That was really good. Wow, this is just confusing. So far, confusing. Very confusing. Any other tasting notes?
No, I'm with Jason. You get that real youth, and there's a flavor in there, but I can't put my finger on what it is.
I mean, it's sweet, but it's not like
it keeps me coming back.
Sweet.
Right.
I don't think it's too sweet, but it's, I don't know.
Is it like part of the maple?
I'd like to see how they did it. You know, you went to RD1 not too long ago and saw there, like when they would do the Amberana stuff, or Amberana put those little like honeycomb looking pieces of wood down there. I wonder how they put these in there, and how long did they leave them in there?
Yeah, but they do that with their other stuff.
Oh, good point. Yeah.
So it's not a new process to them.
You mean here, this place?
Yeah. That's what they do with their double oaked. Man.
Oh, same thing. These are spirals there too.
That's why it's super mapley.
Oh, see, I thought they were putting that in a different cask or a different barrel.
Whiskey, man.
Oh, for sure.
I thought they were too. That's actually made with spirals too. I didn't know that.
I thought it was another barrel.
I'll double check. I could be wrong, but I thought they did all of that.
Hell, it could be both.
Yeah. It was another barrel. That's why it's double oaked.
Yeah.
But the mapley part, I still thought they used a spiral. That's why it's so desserty sweet.
Yeah. I don't think this is that sweet, but it's weird. I just don't know how to describe this one.
Another note that they talk about is some kind of malted milk chocolate or dark chocolate. Way on the back palate, way on the back palate, I get bitter dark chocolate. But that's like way after a couple of sips and not very long and lasting. It's on the finish. Mostly, again, I
could see like a Whopper, like the candy. You know how that's like malted in the middle?
Right.
I could see that in the back end. But and not in a great way.
No, it's not. It's not anything that I'm enjoying. And so I don't know if I've ever talked about this, but I'm going to mention it now. And I don't even know if they still produce. But when I was first like exploring craft whiskeys, there was a place called Wadeland Ranch that had these little small. They almost look like the Elijah Craig Barrel Select bottles, a little bit bigger than that. And they were selling that as their flagship whiskey, but they couldn't call it bourbon because it was only like 2 years old. I can't remember what it was. No, for some reason they couldn't call it bourbon. It was just called Kentucky whiskey. I had it. I liked it, but it was so youthful. And that was the first time I remember getting like the straight sawdust, raw, grainy flavor on a bourbon and going, dang, like.
Where was that at?
It was a place called Wadeland Ranch. I don't know if it still exists, but this is kind of giving me Wadeland Ranch vibes. Which is a little, I mean, again, I hope they're still in business because I thought they had a lot of promise, and I just bought their whiskey one time. But, it was like a farm turned distillery, back when that was popular.
Where was that, here in Kentucky?
I think so, yeah. Okay. I think they're a Kentucky producer. But, man, I'd love to know what produces that flavor because it's definitely youth, but I don't know what else it is that produces that because when I get it, it's not something I typically gravitate toward.
I did look it up, though. The normal double oak is also toasted maple staves.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Interesting.
Wow.
Toasted maple woods. I mean, they actually know the process. They know the process.
Double oaked extended age. Yeah.
But they also charge how much for their double oak? $199?
Minimum.
And this,
the enthusiast market's $500 to $600.
And this they introduced it at $62.99, so they must have known at least that was a good price point for this. Saw somebody selling it for $130 today. I think I might go back on there and comment like, "What you doing? What you talking about?"
Is that their lowest price offering of bourbon?
No, I think
they're
$49. Aren't they? 44, 49.
Yeah. Their regular core products are a little bit less.
I mean, for what? How would you say this one was?
5 and 6.
So, I mean, $10 a year roughly. So it's not too bad on the price with that, in theory.
I'm trying a tiny bit more here because I didn't pour that much to start. So So I'm not going to lie. Why do you think that I was after this bottle? Can anybody guess why I was after this bottle?
Because how good the other stuff tastes.
New release.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. That's the 100. I kept seeing it advertised everywhere, and I was like, I need to get one of those. I need to get one. Like, and I'm saying that in full disclosure because I want our listeners to know that we're all like that. No matter how much time I spend on a podcast or talking about scrutinizing whiskey, I've had such good experiences with 13th Colony stuff that I'm like, I got to get this. Like, it just sounds good. The process sounds good. I mean, a lot of hype around it.
Really, after what Kenny told us, I mean, essentially this should be the double oak, like light, right? I mean, it should be a younger version, not double oak, but with the same maple stave. So, in theory, it should be a way to try to taste that. If you can't get the other big one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I saw it at Liquor Barn, and then I saw it also at House of Bourbon, and I passed both times. And
it was at Georgetown too, a store.
Yeah.
Well, if you think about the way this is produced, and I don't really have anything to compare it to. I actually was thinking about Oak and Eden. Do you guys remember Oak and Eden? They still around?
Yeah.
They actually put like a spiral in the bottle.
In the bottle itself.
Do you remember seeing that? Did you ever see that?
I don't remember seeing that.
Yeah, I bought those when I was
label.
new. Yeah. I got talked into it by a liquor store owner.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I got talked into it by a liquor store owner too, and then that particular liquor store never ordered that product again. It was there and gone. But I think that actually may have tasted a little bit better than this. I'm being honest, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I think it was like a wheat recipe with some kind of different stave finish, and it was actually pretty good.
It's a weird thing, too, to leave it in there. It's going to change in that bottle. You know what I mean? Leave it in there longer.
I thought so too, but I mean, the bottle didn't last that long for it to change, I guess. You know me.
Yeah, if you're pouring vodka in your water bottle, I mean,
There you go. I don't know if we've rendered a verdict yet, but I do want to touch on the controversy because I feel like that's unfortunately a part of 13th Colony's legacy. And so I don't know if anybody around here has anything new to say about it. All I know is I watched a lot of different YouTube videos, and I actually saw where some YouTubers were made as stars from delving into this and kind of scrutinizing 13th Colony and like really getting in the mix. I saw a lot of, I think it was actually, we've talked about Bourbon Real Talk. Randy Sullivan has a long video on it. And a lot of people like, thank you so much for doing this. Like 60, 80, 130 comments deep about the fact that he investigated what was, I guess Pursuit and a couple other people, Fred Minnick and others, were actually pushing, right? They actually said, we're removing double oaked from our tasting panel.
Yeah.
Because we think it has additives in it. And that was like an oak additive or something like that. I can't remember what it was, but that was about an 8 to 9 month long controversy. And 13th Colony wasn't really saying a whole lot during that time. They weren't answering a lot of media questions, but I don't know. I still don't think, and a lot of those people, the YouTubers at the end of the day, didn't think that they're adulterating the whiskey in any way. I personally think my whole take on this is this whiskey that's in this 113 bottle probably comes from a different producer than whatever the double oaked is. They apparently have a small still. There's no way they're producing all their volume that they are putting out there.
The double oak's supposed to be MGP.
It's supposed to be MGP. Okay, and I don't know what this is here. Go ahead. I don't know if you're looking.
But it's so odd to me. Why wouldn't you just claim it? Like why wouldn't you claim it if you can make it MGP? Taste
on their website. Once some of that stuff blew up on their website, they said sourced whiskey.
Oh, really?
They went through on their website and said sourced. So maybe they blend some of their own and the sourced both. I know a few people that I thoroughly trust that have been to the distillery, done picks and all that stuff, and they said it's real bourbon. They said they're not adding additives. It's it's that hot down there, that freaking just dank, just it gets dark like that. The flavor, they're using those now. Granted, it's one of those things. I mean, if you're using it's kind of like, if you're using a maple spiral, man, if you use a lot of it, it's going to get like super sweet.
Sure.
So, I mean, it's,
I don't think so. I mean, that's almost like, is that a finishing technique? Could that be could they dip the maple spiral in maple syrup? Sorry.
So this one says distilled in Indiana on the bottle.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right there. Well, there you go. Sorry.
So MGP.
I was over here acting like I had some philosophy and thesis, and it's actually
all you do is read the bottle, Anthony.
Read the instructions. There you go.
Never read the instructions. That's my tip. Never read them.
I was going to say, is there instructions for installing a dishwasher, Steven, that you know about?
Just call Kenny.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think sourcing's a bad thing. I mean, additives are, but not sourcing. So, I mean, you figure they claim that. I mean, it's on the back of this one. Maybe the next double oaked release will have it on there.
Right. I mean, maybe they said a double oak was 10-year-old bourbon, though, right?
It's old, man.
It's old, or 10 to 12.
It's been sitting in a double oak for a long time,
right?
And they've been around 15 years.
Yeah, so maybe that's just it.
It's possible.
Yeah.
Boys, would you pass, try, or buy on the 13th Colony 113 bourbon whiskey? Jason, would you like to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first.
Guest of honor.
But no pressure. So I'm not a buy. I'm probably a try, just because I think it's unique. I don't think I've ever had anything quite like it. I don't even have a good thing to compare it to. Maybe just, locally, like an RD1 finish something, French oak or whatever, but it's not French oak, of course. But I think it's unique enough to try. I don't know that I would want a bottle for myself.
I was going to say, if you said unique enough to try, would you like to try to buy this bottle from me? I'm blowing my cover.
$30, bro. Cheers.
You guys can do it on your podcast.
I think I'm going to pass.
Okay.
I just don't like the youthfulness taste of it, especially for the price.
I got you. Is there anything else you dislike about it?
No, it had that interesting note, which I kind of almost pushed me to a try because I kind of liked it, but
right.
I just don't like sipping. I sipped it a lot. I just didn't like the youthfulness of it.
Right. I want to hear what Kenny has to say, but I will leapfrog him. And I'm surprised, Stephen, you didn't say anything about this red label.
Oh, it's beautiful.
You can't have a red
like
label.
fall.
It looks like Louisville. I'm just kidding. I'm an Iron Chic on Louisville.
They're not ready for that.
That's right. This is actually very difficult for me. I know I say that a lot, but it is because I do care about the fact that, somebody took the time to make this whiskey and they are proud of it and everything else. But as much as those things are important to me, I think I'm also going to be a pass because it just isn't like there's certain whiskeys, especially as we keep trying these. This is a 2025 release, so we're going to have to rate this, guys. We didn't rate it yet. This just isn't hitting it for me. And to contrast it with other finishes, Jason, since you mentioned RD1, I've had RD1's maple finish, and it was too strong for me.
It was too strong for me
sweet.
as well.
Yeah, too sweet. So this, I was expecting sweet, and I got something completely different. I got something that felt like it was unfinished. That's what this feels like.
That's why I think it's a try for me right there. I mean, I'm not buying a bottle, but it's very, I don't have anything to compare it to. Maybe there's somebody out there who would like it.
Well, as I take another sip, it's funny. It grows on you a little bit, but the finish has that like very weird, I don't want to call it like effervescence. It's just kind of like a weird, like peel, peppery kind of flavor, a little smoke flavor. They're just not the things I gravitate toward in bourbon. But then again, I like that French oak finish that I bet you 9 out of 10 people that tried that they put out there would have been like nail polish remover. I just liked it. However they did it, whether it was spirals or whatever, I liked it. So I'm not hating on their products wholesale, but this one's a miss for me. I'm a pass.
Got some breaking news, I just see.
Uh-oh. Breaking news.
Weetabix is now the 5th top-selling cereal on Amazon.
Oh, my God.
Thanks to Maury Williams.
Yeah. How much has been sold in the state of Kentucky?
I have no idea how much is getting delivered here.
The dang Commonwealth is buying Weetabix, and they're all going to be disappointed when they taste it. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, even he said it was bad in the press conference.
Right. Did you see Mark Pope was trying to play it up? He's like,
say it again.
On. He's like, say it again. Say it was really good. He's like, you're going to get an NIL deal. That was awesome. Man, Pope is he's great.
I am going to go a little bit different than you all.
Oh, wow. Here we go.
I'm going to go hard pass.
Oh, hard pass. Okay.
No, I'll just be a pass. I just went and poured some Maker's 46 cask. Just so much better.
Kills it.
Kills it. I wasn't going to blind y'all with that, but I just don't think there's a point in blind on this. It's just not very good. And like I said, it's one of those things where the 6 other offerings I've had from them are all awesome.
Right.
So not saying anything bad about their distillery in general, because this is now, I am 6 buys and 1 complete pass. So this just doesn't do it, man. They need there's no possible way this should taste that youthful and young. Mm-hmm. Now, here's the thing. As light as color this is, and this is MGP, I would be, in which they won't tell you, I would be curious of when they got those barrels from MGP and how long they were actually stored in Georgia. Because I can see this being bought a 4-year-old barrel from MGP that was stored in Indiana this whole time.
Right.
And it spent 1 season down there maybe. Because this is way too light of color and too youthfulness to have spent 5 or 6 years in Georgia. No possible way.
I like that, and I'm going to follow up by asking you, since you shared this bottle against my will with our listeners, what did our listeners think of it the night that they tasted it?
It was not a good representation of 13th Colonies.
Okay.
Because they have had the same stuff that we've had.
Oh, wow. Okay.
They're all like, this is not typical.
No.
Actually, no. Chase had. Izzy had not. So Chase and I both were like, hey, Izzy, this is not a good representation of what 13th Colonies typically is.
Okay.
So it just isn't.
Well, I wanted to wait to the end to bring that up because I don't want to cloud our judgment. But I'm glad that you weighed in on that too, because sometimes I wonder, like, is it just us? Like Jason, you got a lot of experience tasting. Steven, Kenny, we're fortunate to taste some of the best whiskeys that we are produced. True. I mean, modern anyway. Some of us with Dusties, not all of us, right? But modern whiskeys, we are fortunate to be able to taste this stuff, and so. That's why I want to say when I taste this, even not to vilify or say anything bad about YouTubers or other podcasts, but I don't know what their experience is, because I heard a lot of people say they thought this is possibly one of the best
that they've finished so far.
Yeah, of 2025. Yeah. And that's, again, a handful of YouTube channels that I looked at just to see, and I'm like, wow, I don't know what they're talking about.
Well, there's about 6 of them.
Yep, about 6, 7 saying great things about it. And,
I remember that one reviewer is that Kenny talks about it. Well, here I am again. I'll talk bad about those YouTubers then. They're wrong. They're 100% wrong.
Yeah. The only reason it could be a try is just it's so unique. I don't have anything like it. I mean, there might be somebody. It's not a bottle I'd ever buy again. I would say, I didn't buy the first one.
Well, you want to buy this?
No, I'm good.
I'm trying to double down on you here.
I'll trade you that one.
You trade that? Oh, don't you dare! We will keep the viewers in suspense.
Yeah, we will.
The listeners, not the viewers. We're not viewing anything. No, but I get what you're saying, and I respect that. Like, there's been times where I've been a try. Like, I think I was a try on Penelope when we did that one.
I just never had anything like this one. I don't know. Again, can't compare it.
Yeah. Steve and Kenny were like, no way. And I'm like, you got to try this because it tastes like a bowl of tangerines. And I've never had anything like that from, a 9-year-old straight bourbon whiskey. But
rating this bad boy?
You got to rate it. Yep.
Go ahead. It's a
What's it out of?
Out of 10.
Out of 10. You got to rate it.
Damn.
I'm telling you right now, though, I'm all about this trying to make the blinds just to see if it like messes people up. For 2025, so we'll see how good the whiskey is.
I do not think that would mess anybody up. I think that's I don't think there's anything going to confuse that with anything.
There you go.
I forgot we had to rate this.
All right, well, I'm a 4.0.
4.0. He comes out the gate with a 4.
4.
Boom. Jason, you can enter a score, even though we'll keep tab. We won't put it in the tally, but we want to know what you think on a scale of 1 to 10.
I'll go after you.
Okay. I am actually going to be like my classic, I didn't like, but I still think it's respectable 5, 5.5. 5. I'll go 5.
I scored the Bullet 4.5. I scored the Club Blue 4. So I'll probably go 4.5.
Okay.
In my mind, I'm going between the 4.25 and 4.5, so I'll go 4.5.
And I'm thanking the fact that you guys have still left me as the most inflated scorer.
And I was a try.
Yeah, and there you go. You're a try. And I was a passive 5. But again, I always tell people my entry point, if I give something above a 7, we're good. And it take a while to get above a 7. I don't just give everything a 7. So.
That's the same we kind of do in beer, 3.5. We just double your score to get to you all. So.
No, I love that when you guys do those quick shots.
Yeah, it's all good.
You're like 1 through 5. No, has anything ever scored a 0?
Yes, I've scored some 0.
You have, yeah. Kenny scored a quarter point for a beer one time. Yeah,
10-year-old barrel-aged stout, Mephistopheles.
Peppers. Remember when you messed me up with the peppers?
Green pepper.
You jerk. He lied. He lied through his teeth.
Kaboom.
And with that, thanks for listening to this episode. Please like and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at The Mashup KY.
Don't forget to visit our partner, bourbonoutfitter.com. Enter code The Mashup for a special discount.
Also,
head on over to our partner, the Woodwork Collective, at woodworkcollective.shop. Enter code MASHUP for a 15% discount.
Also, let us know your thoughts on this bottle in the comment section. Until next time, keep it neat.